Lena Carter had always known silence more intimately than most people ever would. At Riverstone High, she walked the halls like a ghost, unnoticed, untouched, unheard. Not because she was nothing, but because she chose to be invisible. While others laughed loudly, posted selfies, and chased popularity, Lena lived in a world of books, shadows, and routine. But no one ever wondered why. Since losing her mother in a tragic car accident at age 12, Lena's world collapsed into quiet pain. Her father, George Carter, a retired Army medic, gave her everything he had left, even when he had nothing to give. He worked nights at the local hospital, cooked breakfast before she woke, and trained her in martial arts every evening, not because she was interested in fighting, but because George believed that every girl should be able to protect herself in a world that sometimes didn't protect them. Control your breath, Lena. Calm mind. Strong body, he'd say as she practiced her movements. Why do I need this, Dad? She once asked. Because life doesn't always give you time to call for help. She never forgot that. For 3 years, Lena trained in silence. Not to show off, not to compete, but to be ready. Yet no matter how strong she grew, she never used it. Not once. Because Lena still believed that strength meant not hurting others even if they hurt you. But some people see kindness as weakness. And some people push until there's nothing left but to push back. Enter Jake Morrison, Mason Green, and Tyler Bishop. The so-called Alpha 3. Athletes. Handsome. Charming in front of teachers. But behind closed doors? Predators with smiles. Lena had caught their attention one random Wednesday in math class, when Jake asked her a question and she didn't respond. From that moment on, she became their target. What's wrong, cat, got your tongue? Maybe she's a robot. Or just stupid. They thought it was funny. What started with jokes turned into shoved books, blocked doorways, and whispering threats as they passed her locker. Lena stayed quiet. Her father had taught her to be disciplined, to not strike first. But inside, a storm was building. Then came Thursday afternoon. Gym class had just ended. Lena had changed back into her hoodie and was walking alone through the nearly empty west hallway. She heard them before she saw them. Hey, quiet girl, Jake called out, grinning. Why so lonely? She ignored him. Mason stepped in front of her. Where you going in such a hurry? Tyler came from behind and grabbed her wrist. His grip was rough. You deaf or just broken? She flinched. Jake chuckled. We're just playing, relax. Lena looked up slowly, locking eyes with Jake for the first time. You really don't want to do this, she said calmly. The boys burst out laughing. You think you're gonna scare us? Tyler jeered. But Lena's breath had already slowed. Her father's voice echoed in her mind, control your breath. Calm mind. Strong body. In a blur, her hand twisted and snapped Tyler's wrist backward. There was a sickening crack, he screamed, falling to the ground. Before Mason could react, Lena pivoted, hooked her leg behind his, and swept him to the floor, delivering a palm strike to his chest. He gasped, stunned. Jake's smile disappeared. What the hell? He reached forward, but Lena grabbed his arm midair, twisted, and locked his shoulder into a painful angle until he dropped to his knees. The hallway fell silent. Don't mistake silence for weakness, Lena whispered. You brought this on yourselves. Footsteps echoed. A teacher rounded the corner, eyes wide at the scene, 3 boys on the floor, groaning, and 1 girl standing calm, composed, unshaken. The office was tense. Principal Reeves sat in disbelief as Lena, for the first time, told her side. But it wasn't just her words, the hallway security footage told the whole story. The harassment. The grabbing. The fear. The boys tried to shift blame, but the video and the bruises spoke louder. All 3 were suspended. Tyler's family threatened legal action until they saw the footage. Then the silence returned, but this time, it wasn't Lena's. The news spread fast. The quiet girl who no one noticed, snapped 3 wrists in self-defense. Some students laughed, some whispered, some avoided her now. But many, especially girls, approached her with curiosity, respect, and a bit of awe. Lena didn't bask in attention. But she did want to make a difference. With her father's help, she started a small after-school self-defense club. What began with 3 girls grew to 20 by the end of the semester. Lena taught them what her father had taught her: not to hurt, but to protect. Not to be loud, but to be prepared. One day, a freshman named Sophie asked, "How did you know what to do? Weren't you scared?" Lena smiled, remembering her old self, the girl who once cried alone in her room after school, afraid to speak, afraid to be seen. "I was scared," she admitted. "But I was also ready." You can be both. In the end, Lena didn't become popular. She didn't win prom queen. She didn't suddenly speak in class or become loud. But she walked taller, looked people in the eye, and helped others find their voices. Because some of the strongest fighters in the world are the ones who fight silently until the moment they don't have a choice. And when that moment comes, the world learns quiet doesn't mean weak. It just means focused. Moral of the story: never underestimate the power of the quiet ones. They may carry storms inside. And when they rise with strength earned through pain, patience, and purpose.